Hello, welcome to this Android tutorial for beginners. This is Android tutorial part 9. In this video, we are going to see about the user interface layouts in Android. First of all, we are going to see the basic building block for the user interface in Android or view and view group. The basic building block for user interface is a view object which is created from the view class and occupies a rectangular area on the screen, and it is responsible for drawing and event handling. View is the base class for all widgets which are used to create a interactive UI components like button, text fields and etc. The view group is a subclass of view and provides an invisible container that holds other views or other view groups and define the layout properties. At third level, we have different layouts which are the subclasses of view group class, and a typical layout defines the visual structure for an Android user interface, and it can be created either at runtime using view or view group objects, or you can declare your layout using simple XML file main layout.xml, which is located in the resource/layout folder of your project. So this tutorial is more about creating your GUI based on layouts defined in XML file. A layout may contain any type of widgets such as the buttons, labels, text box and so on. Next we move on. What is the definition of layouts? Layouts, which are the subclasses of view group class, and a typical layout defines the visual structure for an Android user interface and can be created either at runtime using view or view group objects, or you can declare your layout using XML file. A layout may contain any type of widgets such as buttons, labels, text box and so on. And next we move on the example for layout. So it is a simple example of XML file having a linear layout with a text view and a button widget. So it is a design file. We can include any widgets into it, such as text view, edit text, button, progress bar or anything. So this is the example format for the layout file. Next we move on how to load the layout resources. Once your layout is defined, you can load the layout resource from your application code in your activity.onCreate callback implementation as shown in the slide. Public void onCreate bundle saved instant. It is called super.onCreate saved instance state, and this is the layout is going to executed. So that is nothing but r.layout.activity main. Next we move on. What are the types of layouts are there? So there are number of layouts provided by Android which you will use in almost all the Android applications to provide different view, look and feel. So first, what are those layouts? Or linear layout, relative layout, table layout, absolute layout, frame layout, list view and grid view. So these are all the different type of layouts. First we move on linear layout. Linear layout is a view group that aligns all children in a single direction. It may be in vertical direction or it may be in a horizontal, but all children's it will be in a single direction. Next, relative layout. Relative layout is a view group that displays the child views in relative positions. Next, the table layout is a view that groups the views into rows and columns. So it is like a table. Next we move on. What is absolute layout? So the absolute layout enable you to specify the exact locations of its children's. Next, frame layout is the placeholder on screen that you can use to display a single view. Next, the list view. So it's a view group that display a list of scrollable items, and grid view is a view group that display the items in a two-dimensional scrollable grid. Mostly we use the linear layout and relative layout. In case because of usages, we can use the table layout, absolute and frame, list or grid view. So whatever design you want, you can use this corresponding layouts. And next we move on, what is layout attributes. Each layout has a set of attributes which defines the visual properties of that layout. There are few common attributes among all the layouts. There are other attributes which are specific to that layout only. So these are the following common attribute will be applied to all the layouts. So it is common for all the layouts, so we need to know in detail. So Android colon ID. So this is the ID which uniquely identifies the view. So if we declare a button, we can give ID for that button also. So it is uniquely identifies that view. Next, Android dot layout width. This is used to define the width of the layout, and layout height is used to define the height of the layout. Next, Android colon layout margin top. This is the extra face on the top side of the layout. Next, margin bottom. This is the extra face on the bottom side of the layout. Margin left is used to define the extra face on the left side of the layout. Similarly, the margin right is the extra face on the right side of the layout. Next, the layout gravity. This specify how the child views are positioned. Next, we move on the layout weight. These specify how much of extra face in the layout should be allocated to the view. Next, the Android layout X. These specify the X coordinate of the layout. Similarly, layout Y specifies the Y coordinate of the layout. Next, Android layout width. It is used to define the width of the layout we used, not a widget. So we use a layout for every design file. So this is the layout width and height we defined. Then Android padding left. This is the left padding filled for the layout, and padding right is the right padding filled for the layout, and padding top is the top padding filled for the layout, and padding bottom is the bottom padding. That is nothing but what we given a top, bottom, left, right space definition. And next we move on how to identify a view object. A view object may have a unique ID. We already seen in my previous slide. We can assign a unique ID to the view object, which will identify the view uniquely within the tree. So the syntax for this ID is Android colon ID at plus ID slash button. Here the button 1 is the ID defined for the button. We can name it any name for the ID. Here the ID syntax, we use the at and plus signs. The at symbol at the beginning of the string indicates that the XML parser should pass and expand the rest of the ID string and identify it as the ID resource. And plus means this is the new resource name that must be created and added to our resources. So to create an instance of the view object, capture it from the layout using this following syntax, that is button. So the object of the button is my button. It is identified by the ID or .id my button. So this is the way we can capture it from the other layout. So the button my button is a Java code. So here the button is a class main. So this is the coding we written in the main activity.java class to access a button in the layout file. So in this video we seen about the user interface layouts in Android. I hope this tutorial may help you to understand the UI layouts in Android. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe my channel for more videos.